Is it time to say Pat Mahomes was a product of the system he was drafted into?
I mean, it's fair to say it's all he's known. You know what I'm saying? This is his first year without Eric Bieniemy. There was going to be some kind of growing pains. I don't think any of us expected it as hailed as Pat Mahone is, as the goat. You know what I'm saying? No one expected to take this many bumps in the road. But I mean, hey man, when it's like being raised a certain way, and then you become an adult, and you're being told you have to do it this way. There's going to be some growing pains because all he's known was Eric Bieniemy since he's been there. You get what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with Allen. All Allen knew was Brian Dable, and then he leaves, and there's an adjustment period. It happens all around the league with quarterbacks. No matter how elite you are, clearly, no matter how elite you are, there is an adjustment period because this next guy coming in, it may be Japanese compared to Mandarin. You know what I'm saying? It might be completely different, similar in on the face value, but a completely different scheme that you're not used to running, or you're still trying to get on the timing down with the corral of receivers that they've brung through there, and then your best weapon is aging before your eyes, and Travis Kelsey. You know, I just think that I think they just kind of plateaued. I think they're gonna have to bring in some new talent. At least they have the easiest part taken care of, the QB. But they might have to overhaul that offense as a whole. I mean, Pacheco's cheap. He's a seventh rounder. Hold on to that. But you got to start hitting on some of these guys in the draft picks. And this platoon version of these receivers, now you're seeing how valuable Tyreek was. I don't think the offense would be sputtering like it is for drives on end if you had a threat of a Tyreek out there, even if you weren't using them. You know what I'm saying? That opens up so much more. Nobody's afraid of MVS. You know what I'm saying? Because even if he does get past you, there's no guarantee he's going to catch it. How many times has he dropped walking TDs this year? You get what I'm saying? Tony, you don't even got to guard Tony. Tony will deflect the pass himself. He'll stop himself for you. You know what I'm saying? Rasheed Rice has been a nice bright spot, but I don't think he's a number one. I don't know what he's capable of just yet, but he's shown that he's been the best of the bunch right now. You just got to get some talent in there, and there's going to be an abundance of receivers in the draft. There's going to be the guys in the free agent market. You just have to bring in the right pieces and let Pat be Pat, because he is in his own right. He is great, but we all knew this would happen. There would be a season where he'd have a down year, or there'd be some speed bumps on the road, and they'd have to overcome some of this stuff. I just pray to God that this isn't setting up to be like some storybook finish. All the turmoil in the season, and then the Swifties shit, and then they some kind of way find themselves in the Super Bowl again, and then they're just anointing this man even more. That I don't care to see that. But for the sake of the question that you're asking, I think that yeah, this is his bumpy year.
Um, yeah, well, I think we're all safe from that, K. Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't see that happening.
I
And
hope
one of the
so.
big reasons is, and Eric Bieniemy leaving is huge because everyone talks about it when he went to Washington. He holds people accountable, right? And there's no one getting held accountable in Kansas City. A little bit of reason is because they really can't. You can't really sit people because you ain't got no one behind them. So you can't hold nobody accountable because there's nobody to elevate up. So it's like do
Like,
better. You know
yeah,
what I
you
mean?
sit
But
you sit MVS. All right, Tony. All right, we have to put Tony in there. It's like, oh,
yeah,
well, damn.
fuck. But I think it's a combination of BNB because obviously look at what he did in Washington. Look what they're doing. Offensively, we already talked about it. Sam Howell having a crazy ass throwing year. Defense can't hold water. Doesn't matter. But I think another thing that people aren't talking about is Travis Kelsey's taking a dramatic step back. Like all this 50 crap put aside, he is not Travis Kelsey who we've grown accustomed to. He ain't all pro this year. He's not playing at all pro level. He's not even playing at he's gonna get in the Pro Bowl just because who he is. But to be honest with you, I don't even know if he's playing at a Pro Bowl level. Like honestly, he has taken a huge step back from where he was a year ago and before that. And then another factor that we are Matt Nagy. So like the Bills, I'm gonna allude to him like you did. We lost our coordinator just like that. Now it's not the world's not over. There's an adjustment period, but if you bring in the wrong fucking guy,
Right,
you'll
yeah.
never ever adjust to it because it's just horrible. And we're starting to see Matt Nagy. Hey man, we watched him in Chicago. We seen that shit. Didn't look good, did it? Now he comes back home to Kansas City where he started with his roots. Shit don't look good, does it? So I'm starting to look at Matt Nagy. Looking at.
You know why I think it is like that? When I'm sorry to cut you off because it just dawned on me. When you bring these guys back home from being in those positions of being head coaches or whatever like that, I think it's that pride and that humbling experience of being demoted back down that makes them overthink everything they're doing that got them to that point to being the head coach. You know what I'm saying? You can see times with the Kansas City, it's like they're trying to do too much or they're trying to be too too much trickery. It don't really flow as smooth as what we're used to. And I think Matt Nagy needs to just go back to what he was doing beforehand and stop nuking it. Sorry, continue.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and yeah, like I said, the Matt Nagy thing. I think that, and then another thing people aren't talking about. That's it. Your offense is young. A lot of their mistakes they're making, not lining up on side, not knowing what route you're gonna run. Like that stuff is just youth. You got Sky Moore, second year, right? Rasheed Rice, rookie. These
Rookie.
guys are playing big time minutes and they're making mistakes. They're making mistakes you're gonna see. Now, Tony MVS, after this year, y'all can just get that out of here because those two are terrible. Now, losing Juju, that's another one where I didn't think coming into the season that was going to be a big deal. But the one thing Juju can do is catch a damn ball and run the right route.
And run the right route.
It's crazy, but that's all they need.
And even though Juju's still fairly young. I think Juju's younger than us. Or I think Juju,
Yeah.
or he might be around the same age, 26, 27.
So it's
I think just
easy to,
having that vet in the locker room would help them a little bit too, because
yeah.
there's no leaders in that wide receiver room. Kelsey's a tight end, you know what I'm saying? But as far as wide receivers go, there's no veteran in there that's respectable that you're gonna, pony up to and listen to, you know what I'm saying? And be a
I,
leader. It's just a bunch of youth. It's a lot of youth and MVS.
I don't see it like when it comes to the Pat Mahomes, I can see it because at the same time we're gonna look at it. We don't see a lot like last year before, whatever. We'll see a lot of times they use that fast guy in the motion, kind of like how Tyreek is being used now in Miami,
Miami. He's
where
making a
he
fucking
like go on
play.
that motion and then he'll come around there,
Yeah.
snap, and then he'll go. They don't do that. They don't really do a lot of that no more. They don't do none. They don't do anything that makes it like because I feel like Pat works better in the system of chaos. And that sounds weird to say, but like, he got a little bit of a magician with him, a little bit of, that spectacular with him. So like when you're working in just a straight up system of okay, let's just make the read, make the throw, whatever. I don't feel like that really works for him, you know?
No, it's because hey, he's just like Josh. They're kind of the same way where he can give you 10 spectacular plays a game, but if you ask him to do that every single drive of every single game, I mean, these guys are human. They're not going to be able to do that every drive, get you spectacular throws, plays. You know what I mean? You can count on them to give you a handful every game, and that's what made these guys great and what takes them to the levels they were at. But when you have a coordinator like Matt Nagy and Ken Dorsey, that basically is just like, well, I have Pat Mahomes to Josh Allen, so this is the standard issue play call, and just make it happen. I mean, this is going to happen. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there has to be creativity in offense for any player to be good. So,
Yeah,
or
definitely.
elite.
I'm definitely here. And I don't know, man. We could be we over the past 5 years, we haven't had 4 or 5 years, we haven't had the chance to really dump on Pat, get
I
on
love it.
Pat. So I feel like for a lot of people right now, this is our time where we get to, you know, poke at things, get on them, whatever. And so it could just be a little bit of that, but at the same time, it do look like he needs a system of or a more creative offensive coordinator in
Oh
order to
yeah,
be the Pat Mahomes. He's going to be great either way.
yeah.
He's going to throw for 3,500 to 4,000 yards no matter what. He's going to be a top five quarterback no matter what. But the thing that made him the number one quarterback may have been Eric Bieniemy's system. And maybe that's what we're looking at right now. That it's just he doesn't have that, and he's taking a step back to where, he's looking a lot more on pace with a Josh Allen, with a Lamar Jackson, with like it's looking like, instead of they just Pat and then everybody else, it's looking like, all right, Pat, Lamar, Josh Allen,
Yeah.
now everybody else. You know what I mean? And that's the problem that we're looking at right now, where it's like, is the system what made him that just much better than everybody else, or is it just, or was it his talent? And right now, it's looking like it was the system.
Yeesh.
But I mean, we'll see in the years to come. Pat could go on in the next 3 to 4 years, win two more Super Bowls,
Thanks.
and
Don't
we're
even
just looking
say
like
that.
straight idiots.
Don't even say that,
So
bro.
I
Don't
don't
even
know.
say that.